What's up, y'all? Hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to report on this story that I was supposed to do last week. Some shit came up. So, um, Nicki Minaj's husband, victim, came out speaking on her ordeal dealing with him. She was on The Real recently expressing all the things he'd done to her. And just to give you a backstory, her husband violated this woman named Jennifer Hoff years ago, and he was supposed to register for the sex offenders registry when he moved to California, and he refused to sign up. So he's in a situation where he's facing 10 years in prison for not signing up for the registry. And so they've been torturing this woman, him and Nicki Minaj. They were trying to get her to recant her story. They were bribing her, and she refused the bribe. And so they just came with the death threats and everything. So she is suing them, a civil suit for that. And what pissed me off about the situation, Nicki Minaj tried to derail what the fuck going on with her husband by putting out misinformation about the vaccine. She made up this whole fucking story about her cousin's friend having swollen testicles from the vaccine as a way to derail what was going on with her husband. It was some bullshit. What's up, Just Chillin'? And she's trying to derail. So this lady who they've been harassing was on The Real. So I'm going to play an interview, and then I'm going to give my commentary after this interview.
Silent for so long. Why are you here speaking up today? I'm tired of being afraid. I feel like the actions that were taken in regards to this whole situation have put me in a different type of fear at my age now, and it was wrong, and I don't want to be afraid anymore. So the only way not to be afraid is to continue to speak up.
Let's take it back to the beginning. What was your first interaction with Kenneth?
It was September 16th of 94. It was a Friday morning. I was on my way to school, high school. I seen him at a bus stop. And I didn't think anything of it other than there goes Kenny across the street. And he asked me where I was going. I said I was going to school. I asked him where he was going. He said he was going to school too. I might have said something like, "Yeah, right." And I turned away from him to look for, we had dollar vans back then. So I was looking for the bus or the dollar van. And before you know it, he was grabbing a hold of my jacket.
Jennifer, what happened after he grabbed you?
I felt something in my back. So I just assumed there was a gun. And I started walking. And I'm pleading with him the whole way. I'm trying to understand what does he want. And we get in front of this house. It might have been maybe the second or third house from the corner. And he kind of reaches behind me with his foot to push the door open. And he pushes me up the steps. We go up the steps. I'm crying because now I'm inside. We walk up the steps, and I'm continuously pleading with him. I'm asking him, like, what do you want? Like, if you just want me to chill here with you, I will. Um, and then he said I knew what he wanted. He pushed me down on the bed. We wrestled for my clothes because all I could do was hold my pants like this, as tight as I can. I don't know why it didn't dawn on me to like really fight. I just held on to my pants, and he'd hold my arms down, and he squeezed the sides of my stomach so hard. And so I'd let go, and as soon as I let go, he'd grab my pants. It was like a tug of war. After a while, I just got tired. I just felt maybe if he hurry up, I could just hurry up and leave. After he got off top of me, he stood in the mirror and he beat his chest. And he said, I'm the man. I'm the man. And so I'm asking him, please let me go. I won't tell nobody. And he just was into the mirror. He just into himself. And he went to light a cigarette. And I thought maybe, I seen a roll of toilet paper on the dresser. And I thought maybe if I liked a cigarette, I could get the match to set the toilet paper on fire. And it went out. I squirted his contact lens cleaner in his face, and he was like, thank you for wiping my face. And he just pushed the water, and at that time I just seen this big plastic bottle, almost like the bleach bottle, and I just took it and swung it at him with all my might. And when he went to duck, I pushed him, and he fell in between the beds, and I just ran, and I just kept running, and before I knew it, I was in front of my school, and the security guard was asking me, where have you been, Jennifer? You're late. And I told them, and they called the police, and the police came, and they put me in a van, and they asked me if I can show them the location of where this happened. I did. And I watched them bring him out in handcuffs. And then they took me to the hospital.
I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
Now, Kenneth was arrested, but his family came and claimed that the two of you were in a relationship. Is any of that true?
No, we were never in a relationship, ever. We never had no type of romantic anything. We never talked on the phone. We never hung out together. I just knew him from the neighborhood. At what
Okay, I'm going to stop this part. Yeah, I'm going to tell you another thing. Like, when this first hit, Nicki Minaj went on social media speaking on this woman's story, saying how, they were in a relationship, which was false, and said they were around the same age. First of all, it's irrelevant, even if it was true. Someone's age has nothing to do with being violated nor being in a relationship, because people in relationships get raped as well. So she wasn't shit for even saying that. And it's like, you can't speak on a situation where you wasn't there. And play this some more.
During the trial, it was reported that you tried to recant your accusations. What happened?
Instead of me going home after that happened, because I ran to school, I wasn't able to involve family members of what happened. The police had got involved right away. So they were pretty upset about the threats that, I better drop the charges. So the lady who raised me, she was much older. And to prevent fear from that house, I was forced to go to the courthouse on his court date. I wasn't supposed to be there. They had me hiding on the steps. They, meaning my family, had me on the stairwell, waiting for his court to come up. And it just so happened that the district attorney took the steps that day. And she seen me and she asked me, what was Jennifer, what are you doing here? And because my back was to my family, I was able to tell her that they were trying to force me to drop the charges. So when it came time for court, I believe the judge might have asked a question, and I stood up in court and I just blurted out, I want to drop the charges. I never said it didn't happen. I just said I want to drop the charges. And the judge said, take it to the DA. And they told me to leave. District attorney told me I had nothing to worry about. And I went home. And shortly after that, I left the state of New York.
Now, Jennifer, I'm going to read because I don't want to make a mistake. This is an important story. Though Kenneth Petty first denied the rape charges, he was charged with first-degree rape, subsequently pleaded guilty to attempted rape, and spent over 4 years in prison, according to the inmate records. Did you feel that justice was served?
I don't think I thought about justice per se because I was still blaming myself. I thought it was something that I did or didn't do. So I don't think I thought about if I got justice. I just knew he did what he did and he went to jail, and I had to leave my family, I had to leave my home, and I had to move away. So yeah, I never really gave it much thought.
How has this affected you emotionally over the years?
In so many ways. Hiding within myself, living and surviving through insecurities, using them to protect myself, thinking that if I don't look a certain way, I won't attract a certain type of attention. And I've been like that my whole life.
Jennifer, let's move forward. When it was announced that Kenneth Petty was marrying Nicki Minaj, what was your first thought about that news?
I was so afraid of being found out. I was so afraid of being known as the person he violated. And I didn't want that. It's Nicki Minaj. I didn't want
Okay,
that.
just to pause this, Nicki Minaj knew this person before the fame. So she didn't encounter this guy she ended up marrying up until she was giving out turkey in her neighborhood and shit like that. So they reconnected and all that jazz. Play some more of this interview.
Reflect on my children.
Nicki addressed fans who brought up Kenneth's attempted rape conviction by replying to them on social media, saying he was 15, she was 16 in a relationship. What are your thoughts about that?
It was like reliving it again because it was a lie. It wasn't true. We both were 16. We were never in a relationship. I just felt woman to woman. I was wrong of her because I don't know you and you don't know me to know that statement you put out to the world to be true. You have 150 something million followers on it. They all believed it. It hurt coming from another woman. I mean, just the girl thing,
We reached out to Kenneth Petty's lawyer and representatives from Nicki Minaj, who did not immediately respond to requests for comment. We're still here talking with Jennifer Huff, who is currently involved in a lawsuit with Nicki Minaj and her husband, Kenneth Petty. She is joined by her lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn. Now, Jennifer, in 2020, Kenneth Petty was arrested for failing to register as a sex offender. In violation of the plea deal he accepted for attempted rape in 1994. Now, did you feel that he wasn't taking responsibility? He wasn't taking his punishment seriously?
I didn't initially think that way. I think it was more about And why wouldn't he want to protect the person who he's with? More so like you've been registering for 20 something years. Why would you wait till now not to do so? I just, and then I thought more so that it was going to open up a can of worms for me and my family.
Well, we reached out to Kenneth Petty's lawyer and representatives for Nicki Minaj, who did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Tyrone, will you please lay out just for us what is in the lawsuit?
Let's just be clear. We would not be here but for the actions of Kenneth Petty and Nicki Minaj. The lawsuit deals with two things. First, it deals with the crime of 1994 when Kenneth Petty raped Jennifer. And it also deals with the actions of 2020 when Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty decided to send their associates to Jennifer and harass her for a 7-month span to get her to recant her story from 1994 in order to get him off of the sex offender registry. So the lawsuit deals with harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, sexual harassment, sexual assault.
Jennifer, what kind of harassment do you allege that you faced?
There was an associate of Kenneth and Nicki Minaj who came to the state that I was living at. I've been harassed by people calling family members that I haven't even spoken to or seen in quite a while, offering money, phone calls from different people in regards to this supposed letter that I written. People approaching my daughter. People approached her in a club and asked her about Kenneth Petty, and she wasn't even born at the time that this happened. So yeah, it's been pretty awful.
Jennifer, have you ever spoken to Nicki directly?
I did in March of 2020. She called me and she said that she got word that I was willing to help them out in a situation. I didn't understand what she was referring to. She offered to fly me and my family to LA. I turned it down, and I told her, woman to woman, this really happened. And I hadn't spoken to her since.
Now, you allege that Nicki and Kenneth were harassing you. In what way?
With them sending people to negotiate numbers as far as money is concerned with family members. And Nicki is the one who personally reached out to me. She's, in regards to helping them in this situation. And then the threats that I received because I kept saying no to every offer, to every suggestion. The last incident was when one of their associates put $20,000 on my lap, and I still kept saying no. The last message I received was that I should have taken the money because they're going to use that money to put on my head. And then I cut off everything, changed my numbers. I moved multiple times, relocated away from my children because I didn't want anything to come back and affect them. So I've just kind of been in fear for the last year.
This associate that she's referring to, this is the same guy who recently posted an Instagram video threatening to either kill or to do bodily harm to Jennifer. And this post came literally 6 days after Kenneth Petty accepted a plea deal here in California for failing to register as a sex offender. This is the same guy that showed up at Jennifer's house with the $20,000 and put it on her lap with a pre-written recantment statement that he tried to force her to sign on behalf of Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty. This is the same associate that sent Jennifer a text message from Kenneth Petty with Nicki Minaj's phone number, informing her that this is the number that you will receive a call from. And that number is the one that called her.
What are you guys wanting to come from this lawsuit?
to let them know that they were wrong. And you can't do this to people. You shouldn't do this to people. He did something a long time ago, and he had consequences that he was supposed to stick with. What they did to me.
Okay, I'm gonna stop this interview. So yeah, basically, she came on The Real to basically give her side of the story. And I'm so glad that she didn't allow them to bully her and she spoke her truth. Because that was some bullshit they were trying to pull, trying to get her recant her story and try to bribe her with money and shit like that. Like, she's a strong one to stick to her guns. Because they had no business harassing this lady. She's been violated enough. She didn't need these two idiots reaching out to her, harassing her and shit, just because her stupid ass husband refused to register in the sex offenders registry and they moved to California. It's their fault that he's in this situation. Because if he would just did that, she wouldn't have to come forward and say anything. So they fucked up on their end and should have left that woman be. Don't go out here harassing this woman. The fuck? And see, I don't respect Nicki Minaj because this ain't her first time to defend a shitty ass person. Her brother molested his stepdaughter. And she totally defended that shit. So she has a habit of supporting shitty ass men. Hey, Miss L, how are you? This Jennifer person says she wasn't a victim. She survived nothing. She wanted it, then had regret. When I was her age, I know what I wanted and didn't want. Let's not use a victim excuse. Okay, first of all, she was violated. It doesn't matter how old a person is, and they were both teenagers. They were both 16 years old, so age ain't have shit to do with it. He knew better. He should never violate her, period. There's consequences to your actions. I don't feel bad for him or any rapists. Fuck them. Just Chillin says, to be fair, shitty garbage ain't exactly model citizen herself. Oh no, she defends shitty people. Like, I don't have no respect for her. And as far as I'm concerned, when Remy Ma put out a diss track on her, she was spot on about her. Jennifer, he only served 4 years in prison for that incident. Jennifer, I don't feel bad for either one of them. This isn't about Cardi B. We're talking about Kenny Petty's victim. We're not talking about Cardi B right now. This ain't a stand war. Miss L says, I adore the way you say motherfucker. Yeah, I love saying that word. But anyways, yeah, he's not shit. And Nicki Minaj ain't shit for defending his ass. Like, bitch, you weren't around. How can you even think you had a right to speak on this woman's story? Like, you should just set this one out. Because at the end of the day, I don't feel sorry for you. You chose to marry, have kid with a convicted rapist. I don't feel sorry for you. So deal with everything that comes with it. Like, I don't feel sorry for Nicki Minaj. Just chilling says, just Jennifer chick must be a barb. Must be, because there's been a lot of barbs defending Nicki Minaj's actions, caping for her husband. It's like, girl, he's a he's a convicted rapist, okay? And y'all had no business harassing this woman. Y'all should have left her be. Seriously. Like, goddamn. And it's like, bitch, this is why you're losing everything just from defending this man. Like, we're not supporting you because you support shitty ass men. You supported your brother. You had a hand in paying for his legal shit. I mean, bitch, I'm not feeling you. Like, I'm so tired of these celebrities thinking they can get away with shit by harassing this woman. Like, bitch, you ain't invisible, and your money trying to bribe this woman didn't work, and you ain't shit. Now and it's like, bitch, you chose to marry him. You did. Okay, and now your husband have to deal with the consequences that come with not registering in the sex offenders list, you stupid dumbass. Exactly, just chilling. Like, she's a shitty person her damn self. Like, enough said. Like, it just killed me. And what killed me, she had a nerve to sit over here and try to change this woman's story, but like that justifies shit by saying, oh, they were teenagers. Oh, they were in a relationship, which was a fucking lie. But it's like, bitch, people get raped in relationships. So what the fuck are you even talking about? And it has nothing to do with age. That's irrelevant, ho. Like, the bitch is super stupid. And she should have sat this one out. And it's like, you went through all of that shit with your goddamn cape on. It's like, bitch, you support shitty ass men. Like, that don't make no damn sense. Like, your brother violated a 12-year-old. You dumb bitch, you. And now you over here defending your husband's actions, trying to justify the shit. It's just like, you should have just sat there and ate your food. Like, you dumb bitch, you. And this and shit like this is it's a reason why rape is the most underreported crime in this country, because you got shitty people in society caping for these rapists, and they wonder why people don't come forward and speak their truth, because you have these defenders trying to silence survivors. And we have to change as a culture and stop supporting bullshit. Ted says, he didn't want to register because Nicki, a superstar, didn't want the address of public. I feel you, though. But Ted, this is the thing. She chose to be with him. So it's like, you need to deal with everything that comes with being with that dude. Like, you should have known, like, being with this dude, that's jeopardizing you as well. Your shit being out there. And I don't feel sorry for them, because they didn't have no business harassing this woman, trying to get her recant her story. It's just sit there and eat your foods. Like, what the fuck? And it's just wild. It's just crazy. And we need to do better as a whole, as a society. And stop having this blind worship of these people. Like, we don't know these people, these celebrities. Like, just because you have money don't give you the right to try to cover shit up so you can protect your man. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh, and speaking of which, R. Kelly is found guilty today, which is awesome. So it's like, fuck him. But he still have other trials to face in Illinois and Minnesota and shit like that. But out of 9 counts, he's found guilty. And yeah, I hope Kenneth Petty's survivor finds peace. I hope she gets what she wants from that civil suit, because they had no right to be messing with this woman. She deserves to live her life and have peace, considering what she's been through. And if anyone want to hop on the panel and give their take on it, you can. But it's like, Nicki Minaj ain't shit and will never be shit. She's not all about girls or women. Like, this bitch justifies shit. Any wrongdoing pertaining to girls and women, she just don't give a fuck. She all about herself. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's like, people like that. It's like, bitch, I can't support you. You sit over here justify fucked up shit. Like, bitch, you miss me with that shit. And it's like, crazy. It is. And before I go, anyone that ever been violated, just know it wasn't your fault. It don't matter what you had on, none of that. You didn't have to, you were innocent in all of this. You are not to blame. It's the perpetrator's fault. Period. And don't feel like it was your fault, because it wasn't. Peace, y'all.